bit.
You can just hug the Clockwork in lane if you're PL, because you'll probably make more effective trades. I believe you have higher base armor, like Sin said, you have higher damage.
And you have good damage, yeah.
And if for whatever reason you do get ganked and have to run away, then you just doppelganger out and you're fine. It's like not a big deal.
Vega actually banned the Broodmother unless NiP are running that.
I think that they're expecting
a
tri-lane, I'm pretty sure, and they don't want that 1v1 matchup that a Brood can just run over.
It's just to keep themselves safe.
But then you'd be moving like the PL towards the top lane to make that Broodmother fit in. Unless you run the Leshrac in the mid, you could probably run something else like a Mirana on top.
You can run PL mid.
Yeah, you could also run PL mid. That's true.
Up against the SF though,
it's a tricky matchup, I think. But you can land spam him and try to CS, and at least in the first 2 or 3 waves, Shadow Fiend should just lose that lane because PL has like 20 damage advantage.
So they ban AA here, and that to me says NiP really wants to make sure that they can dominate the lanes.
Yeah, this is accurate tri-lane, we know it.
I mean, you have Dazzle and Lesh. I mean, Lesh eventually goes Octarine Core, Dazzle is sustain.
It's good later on as well.
You don't want to just get hard countered, and plus, Ancient Apparition Ice Blast guarantees a shatter, even if you grave, like you just die if Aghanims is up. There's nothing you can do about it.
If Vega don't pick a very good defensive support here, I think Disruption equals kill.
So
there is no counterplay.
There's
but who's
Winter Wyvern, there's Abaddon, Tree.
Winter Wyvern wouldn't do enough early on.
I think
it would, because Cold Embrace stops physical damage, so the Shadow Wave wouldn't actually hit if you could do it fast enough.
Huh. I mean, that could be an interesting pick.
Nah,
yeah,
Shaker.
That's what I was guessing.
Okay. Yeah. Good against PL as well.
It's just a way so that when the disruption comes in on Gyro or Disruptor and they're about to combo with Lesh, you fissure and you just buy time and disrupt the combo. I still think this lane is not safe at all for Vega, but it's the best pick I could imagine remaining in the pool to just cover their bases.
So what is the final hero here for NiP? They've got a minute and a half to think it over, actually a bit more.
I think Puck is good.
Yeah, Puck is very strong, I agree.
But I kind of always think Puck is good.
Well, the thing is...
But they owned with it in game 1. They've got to feel confident with it on Limp.
Yeah, and the other thing too that's nice about Puck for NiP is he's not a hero in this matchup who has to go high ground by a certain point, which I feel like just being able to find your momentum during the early mid game gives the Lesh and Phantom Lancer plenty of room, and I think that if it does end up going ultra late and the Shaker doesn't find good echoes in the team fights, the PL will just run over this lineup. I mean, we saw earlier when Navi were playing, it's just you have a PL who farms to a point where these other kind of spread damage heroes like Gyrocopter just can't deal with him. Like, it's not enough to just have flat cannon, you melt.
Is it worth going for something more like a Lina pickup again? Because then the SD and the Dazzle can just rotate. Let's go for an SK. That's a core SK too.
He can really dominate 1v1 against melee heroes if they want to go for a matchup like that.
He's not going to have a great run up against Clockwork though.
It could be really good.
It's not that bad though, if you think about it, because the Clockwork...
He's not in that lane. He's with the Shadow Demon Dazzle lane.
So you think that's the tri-lane?
And then they put Lesh mid.
And PL 1v1.
Yeah, that would be really, really good actually. That's a classic. It's an SEA classic.
That's a real old lane, but that was always used in conjunction with like a mid-invoker lane. Like it was meant to be that first, like you disrupt so you can isolate them inside the cogs, then you turn the battery assault, then you have your Sunstrike come in, you got all this damage which is just piling on top.
Clockwork's on the other team.
Oh, yeah, sorry, take it back.
Just you mean the Sand Kick? Because yes, you can run it with Invoker, but it's not a requirement. Like, the lane itself has so much burst. I think the Sand King's done level 1. Split Earth is 120, I believe, and Sand King's done, I think it's like the same. It's very close. It's like almost identical. But the difference is when Sand King burrows in, you have an additional target for Shadow Wave. So it's even more potent than the Lesh stun is. So.
But the level 1 Shadow Wave only bounces 3 times or 4?
And
so
but it makes 2 illusions.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter though.
He's saying there's no extra. You don't need an extra
damage
target
because you don't need an extra target, right?
No, but no, it bounces 3 times, right? And Dazzle does not count as one of them. So you need 3 targets in the proximity of the.
It says max heal targets 4.
Yeah.
Plus Dazzle.
Also, it's 4 at level 1.
It bounces. Oh, okay. Well.
So it is actually more damage for sure.
Okay.
100%.
But it looks like Vega, well, maybe trying to dodge this one.
Or maybe I'm just flat out wrong. Well, we'll see. I think it could be cool if they run the Sand King on the lane.
If you're wrong, you can join my club.
Invoker club.
Some magical world. Alright, so yeah, now it looks like Mag is considering going towards the top lane, but yeah, we should probably say goodbye to these guys before something weird happens again.
Before you go, I did want to hear who you think's going to win.
Can we
we're back on?
Does it work?
Yeah, you're back on.
Okay.
We want to put you on the spot.
Damn, this is actually
I'm sticking
hard.
with Vega.
And actually, you got to do the Blitz challenge. When do they win? Who wins and when do they win?
Vega win at 40 minutes.
Sint.
NiP win at 39 minutes, 59 seconds.
All right. Well, with that, guys, thank you very much for carrying us through the draft here. And Toby, it's time, man. Our deciding...
We're just children here.
Classic sin. Always got to be one-upping everyone. This is our deciding, folks. It's Vega taking on the Ninjas in Pajamas. One of these teams goes home. The other will be facing 4 anchors tomorrow as the opening best of 3. And whoever wins that match, they guarantee that they go to TI. They may be the wildcard team. They still have to beat Na'Vi, who's waiting in the grand finals, but at least they get the trip to Seattle.
We'll see who can reach that mark. For now, it looks like Vega has moved their tri lane back up to the top. So at the same time, Limp, this is such a beautiful way to start the mid lane. What do? I have this half a second cast time stun, which I can land on the SF and get multiple attacks into. And the SF even went for Razor's level 1. So he's gathering no souls. He's just trying to rush the bottle, which is now coming out in the courier. But SD, look, actually check out the SD right now. He's just chasing after Solo.
Yeah, you cannot be near the Shadow Demon and Dazzle, because if those two are together, they're going to die.
That's the reason why. They're actually trying to get rid of the D-Ward. And if they can stop this pull from happening, NiP have such a huge advantage on top. The other Sentry Ward should still be with them, though.
And NiP it will actually become NiP safe lane, because if they want to, they have their own pull camp going.
Good Fissure. Really good Fissure. And Doppelganger, okay,
you really can't go in with Shadow Demon here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, I do want to look at the Sand Kid. I'm pretty sure he'll be going for the Caustic build. Yeah, we already see a single point in it.
You're amazing, LD.
Generally, max, you'll see 2 points. I don't think you level up more than that. Thank you, Toby.
There's not much reason to level up more than that, primarily because you're going to push the wave too much then.
It's enough to harass them out. Like, at that point, Clock doesn't really want to trade with you anymore.
Yeah.
So this build did get changed, I believe, in the latest patch, so that no matter what, a unit that you hit with Caustic when the timer expires or when the unit dies, it will proc the damage. So even if they don't die, they still proc it.
Yeah, which is fantastic. We just go through the entire creep wave. It's so easy to push a lane now. So easy.
Yeah, Clock can still just look to get his experience here, though, if nothing else. And he's actually CSing well, but top lane, I'm always nervous, man. They've got one off the lane.
You definitely should be, because they're focusing down on Seal Kid. He's still got the Shallow Grave available, which is what's going to keep him alive. And this expends all of the mana now out from Pasha.
That's a lot of mana early on.
Yep. And that's fine. Like, you can just send Seal Kid back to base if you need to. Or you can just sit there and keep on wave healing them all.
They're crushing this lane. Gyro has 1 CS. PL has 13. They don't need to kill him. This is already a massive win. And the other lanes are dead even.
Like, what's the Urshica do once he drops the Fissure down? Solo doesn't really have that intimidation factor until he gets a level 2 glimpse, and that's only if you're getting them to, like, forcing them to run away. And his lane harassment doesn't exist because he didn't even level up Thunderstrike. He went for Kinetic Field to start with, which is primarily meant to combo exactly the way it did up against the Gyro. But NiP brought a counter to the lane. They brought the Dazzle. So that combo doesn't succeed at life at all.
Yeah, and I do want to mention as well, kind of following up on the conversation that Sin was bringing up, if you put Sankey in the lane, you've got an extra +1. You also have that when the Lance gets thrown, because you get the extra illusion from it. So you kind of have that bonus damage coming out from the heal anyway for NiP, and that's why I prefer the way they're laning it over putting the Sankey in the tri-lane, because he is the man for this team. Just like the Nyx was last game for Vega, just like the Clock was for NiP last game. They need a Blink Initiator. It seems
this
like
is good. This could be first blood. This could be first blood, but there's no catcher. Now there is. Hans could only just got the level 4 it, so he can put it down with the lightning, but no one. He's going to end up surviving. Hanskin wants to run away, but Seema body blocking him up for now with the creep wave right behind him. There's no other stuns, however, so that didn't actually get a kill.
That's the kind of stun you can't be missing. There is a potential trip to TI riding on this game. Still, though, for NiP, lanes look great so far. PL is free farming, Gyro's getting very little, Sand Cane is even in his lane, and
I would be worried about that lane though. Like this is where it kind of fights against the inner lane controller in you, where like you've got Caustic Finale, which is doing wonders up against Mag. He's burning through his consumables. Hello, top lane. Goodbye, Pasha. Wow, catching the last moments of that one. The visual still flying, but Doppelganger is up, so nothing will come of it. But yeah, but that bottom lane, it keeps pushing in, and the Clockwork's finding levels, which means you've got a hook shot for 4 or 5 minutes. because this wave is just coming underneath the tower every single time.
The good news is it's not a very good clockwork game, at least not for this stage. If you hook PL, he can doppelganger out.
True.
If you hook anybody else, they can either be graved or disrupted or both potentially.
Yep.
So
Lesh is basically the only one he could find as if NiP don't TP in time, but a level 1 hook isn't really long enough to reach across the river and before you get scouted.
yeah, so I think the main way they get kills is probably more with glimpse into kinetic field.
Phase boots?
He just wants to dominate the lane, so he wants to get the extra CS early on. He's got the mango, so who needs a little bit of mana? He could rush the blink dagger, but I guess what NiP is feeling is we don't need to change the lanes. We're winning all 3. Let's just focus on continuing to dominate these, get even further ahead. And
He went for the 3 points too in Caustic.
wow, that is... I have not actually gotten to see Sandkane in action in a professional game since the change as a laner. I've seen him as a jungling support, but I think an argument could be made this is a strong build, and since they're winning all the lanes, he's not needed elsewhere. That seems to be the idea for NiP.
Hanskin. Can he actually block him on... I think he might have actually got it in perfectly with the follow-up stun. This is going to be the 2nd kill for NiP. Leshrac the man to take it, and no one pops off 2 razors, which actually hit no one.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Pun was not intended, but realized. And Limp, is he going to go? No, he's not going to go again. That is one thing, though, which is nice about the phase boost. Because the SK went for Caustic Finale, like the level 1 Burrow Strike is a piece of...
It's
something you don't want to have.
It's hot garbage.
Yeah, and the way you can get around that is by having the phase boot movement speed, so you can get yourself in range in time to still get the stun off, which is what you're really searching for. Like it's, we're not looking for stun duration and stuff like that. You're still just looking for the initial range in. And that's all he really needs. Movement into middle lane might be a little bit quicker as well.
This is so good. This is unbelievably good for NiP right now. They're winning all. Well, they're even in 2 lanes. They're dominating a 3rd. They got 2 kills. And they're also even getting aggressive in the jungle here. You see Hanskin.
He's leeching the experience. He's not even invis.
He's about to be scouted,
like, he's not even
Gyro's here.
invis.
Gyro's here.
But he's got more help coming up from below, or does he? The Observer was behind, and then it's like illusion versus illusion. He lets him farm, lucky to escape from Mag, but...
He even used the hook shot here.
Wait.
Oh, he might go back in. He could close the gap here with the Burrow Strike, but
he's got him. He's got him. He's actually, like, no FP. Oh, he's going to commit it? The battery assault, it wasn't in time. Mag is down for the count. Yudison Farm gets not only lane dominance, but the solo kill up against the Clockwork. SF's come in, and he's looking for a 1-2, and that's a 1-2, but unfortunately it's a big swing and no ding.
The wrong 1-2, man. Not what they needed. They got great wards up in the dire jungle as well. NiP is having the dream laning stage here. Excellent late game with great defensive supports, a PL, great blink initiator. Leshrac is a secondary core, does a lot of damage. They're going to have a fast blink on the Sand King even after he went for phase boots, and they're also shutting down the gyrocopter here. They know what's going on with the Shadow Fiends jungle. You cannot ask for a better start.
You really can't. Actually, every single prayer of every NiP fan has been answered apart from the loss in Game 2. And your movement's coming out from the SE. I love the Shrike build. He didn't just think, okay, I'm dominating mid, I'm going to get a point up in Edict. He's looking to continue the pressure onto Vega, and he went for the 4 points up in Lightning instead and kept leveling up on the Split Earth. There's no tower pressure that needs to come because they know the pressure will come eventually. SK now has arrived on the top lane. He TP'd on the tier 1 tower. Hanskin right behind Parsha. And they got Disruption Catcher. Yep, Limp, look for the stun. There she blows, and with the lightning bounce up, it won't reach solo, but it mops up most of the creep wave anyway.
And that's the tower, I think, with that. Oh, actually, the creep wave not really pushing it that much. Oh, yeah, there you go. Creep
they want more. They've actually got the Observer Ward in the high ground, too, so they see.
Crazy.
They actually see exactly. They know that Mag is hanging on the other side of the tree line. He can't surprise them at all.
They have that ward. You do not normally see teams get that ward up this early in the game, Toby, and it is making a gigantic difference. And there's no trade or counterplay here for Vega. They are just sitting mid. They're not pushing bottom, they're not farming the enemy jungle. They were totally unprepared for that movement, and it might seem like a small thing, but a minute of wasted time at this stage of the game is going to probably be an extra 1,000 gold you drop, especially with the tower. You're looking at closer to like a 2,000 gold swing almost from that.
This is just like Game 1. Like, you've lost control of your top lane. You've now lost control of your jungle. What have you got on bottom lane? Actually, this is worse than Game 1. You got nothing on the bottom lane, and your middle lane is too scared to do anything. And this is the critical time where, as an SF, you need to find farm. You need to be able to flash farm inside your jungle, but Vega is scared off the bottom, so things are getting crowded. There are too many people wanting to build houses and not enough land for Vega.
Yeah, next step I think will be get the Blink Dagger on Sand King, and then you start looking for kills at that point. They have the vision already. Okay, he's not actually going to buy the Blink. He went back for a Bracer and a completed Magic
Is he just going like man mode?
There's not.
He could turn this into drums. It's fine, but
yeah. I guess it's okay. You're likely to have the move speed advantage. I still think the Blink is essential, but perhaps Jonas wants to go back for it.
It's like he's just turning himself into a damage dealer more than anything else.
Yeah, I guess he wants to be a little bit tankier and more versatile in these fights in case he gets caught, but they will find Lip. That's a big pick off, something Vega really needed. They used the hook shot to engage there and able to find the kill.
That's the top net worth from NiP too. That was the man for NiP.
As good of a start as it is, it makes it that much easier to turn the game with just a couple of key kills. I'm surprised he's not going harder after the Blink Dagger. I would be really surprised if he doesn't get it as his next item. Because again, they don't have another form of initiation. Maybe Lesh could get a Yules, but he seems to be going Bloodstone build, which is, I think, the build that you want to go for the way this game started. So I think at this point, Jonas should go back for the Blink. It's
kind of funny though with Unison Farm. He plays it so differently to like other core SKs we've seen in the European scene. The one you could probably date back 2 years ago was Black. This is back when he was playing for Mouse Sports. And they would give him the safe lane, they give him all the space in the world to farm. He'd pick up the Blink Dagger, and then he would return that investment of time on the lane by going in great epicenters, good burrow strikes, finding kills, and then leaving the lane completely. So someone else, like in this case, it would be someone like a PL, would come down, have all the space in the world to farm up, while the other 4 heroes go around ganking because they've got the early initiation. But in this case, he's like, I want to ensure lane dominance, and then I can come and gank. Now, Era, I was actually waiting for him to doppelgang that, but that's not going to happen. But no one, that's not where you want to be, man.
That's the bigger kill. Disruptor getting the glimpse back, and so what? Now, they will find Hanskin as the trade. That's a good call down, but out comes the Grave for now. Hanskin kept alive. They're bringing solo low with the lance. Just need a charge forward. He Phantom rushes in. Gets the kill. Mag doesn't even finish off Hanskin. It's 3 dead in the end, and now chasing for Pasha. 4 getting massacred. One more lance would do it, Toby. He's got the rage.
Do it.
And he's got him.
For the kids.
Jesus. This is brutal.
All those NiP kid fans
and
out there.
This is before the Blink from the Sand King comes out. I mean, maybe he's skipping it at this point. 1700 gold.
He's going for the Blink Dagger. Right now, NiP have got a boot on Vega's neck and are ready to snap them out of TI. And in fact, he's going to go. It's a solo kill. Epicenter as well. Oh, the fissure! The fissure's there. Unison Farm has overextended himself. Can he get out of the wall? No, he cannot. There's no point sandstorming unless he's up away from the tower. Just try to use the invis to run away, but it's not going to happen. And that's a nice little pick off for Vega. It's a small little consolation prize, but they don't want the board game of Dota. They want to go to the main event.
Well, costly death, yet still PL has a diffusal blade in the works. We're going to see this around like the 16-minute mark at the latest.
What do you even do? Like, do we have arcane boots on either of, on anyone from Vega? Can they repair the mana loss? Okay, we got him on Earthshaker, but we got Tranquils over on Disruptor. If you take away even like 2 swings of the diffusal blade of the mana off Disruptor, I don't think he's actually got an ultimate that he can cast with his current items. Clockwork's going to be in a worse situation. SF is going to be down to 2 raises and no Requiem.
And even if you get off your spells, it still hurts. Like, you're taking a lot of damage, and it's so early that...
He's got a mech as well he's got to try and utilize.
Yeah,
how do you utilize a mech when you're getting mana burn?
He may have mana problems this game. That's where the Shaker boots could come in handy, but... NiP... looks like they will see a 5-hero group up towards bottom. Maybe they just let Vega have this tower for free, which is something Vega desperately need. A little bit of momentum, something going their way. They are also rotating their clock, not their clock, just a rocket towards mid. Seema getting the fissure onto Hanskin, but there's not a whole lot of follow-up here as Jonas moves in. I really think they should be prioritizing finishing his Blink Dagger before he gets involved.
Up. The Sandstorm was there, but it's not going to protect him. There's the 2nd death in a row now for the SK.
He just needs to go farm his Blink.
He really does.
He should not fight anymore.
Just go to his jungle. They had control of the map anyway. There's almost no reason for him to leave bottom.
Go to any lane. Maybe not mid, because mid is where you're most likely to get killed.
Just go bottom. Just farm bottom, farm jungle, push the tower. It's NiP are not under the pressure to do what they're doing right now. Like, you got the aggressive wards, and maybe they're worried that they'll give Vega the same space they did give him in game 1. Because by doing so, Vega found time to potentially hit their timing, which they completely missed. But that's kind of maybe the same thing NiP's got in their heads. Like, this happened in game 1. We gave them space. Maybe not so confident up against such a team fight kind of thing. Not as great. And he did actually finish up the 4 drums.
That was just the, you know what, screw it. I've died twice. I just want HP.
I just want something. Whoa, okay.
Uh-oh. They say lag, and then they 5-man disconnect. This is not good.
Yeah, well, they're all in at LAN, so I'm assuming that something went wrong with the internet connection there, and they're just having to restart everything. So that actually should be the easiest, quickest thing. Like, that's 1, maybe maximum 2 minutes of downtime.
Hopefully.
But you know what we do in downtime?
What?
Yeah, you knock on wood, please. You know what we do in downtime?
What do we do, Toby?
It's effigy check time.
Effigy check time.
It is perspective mirrored effigy check time.
Effigy check time.
That's if Weber still has it there.
I made Cinder laugh.
What was that?
What is that actually?
I think he's trying to hold a taco.
Huh? It looked like he had a dinosaur on his back or something. That was weird.
Do we have, like, can anyone translate the Swedish?
Sinned. It's basically the same as Danish.
We looked.
Wait, what's that?
You sound like you were sleeping.
No, okay. So I think there are 2 ways of interpreting this. Either it's the man came or come on, man. I think those are the 2.
Probably the latter.
2 interpretations. So maybe that's the one you prefer.
I don't think you need help to translate this one.
That means sheep.
Sheep. Okay.
No.
I'm starting to...
I'm like, wow, if it does that, if woohoo, even though that's actually, like, wrong.
I'm pretty sure Sint has no idea what he's talking about.
I think this means soft.
But what's the space, man? What's the space?
I'm not sure.
Because right now he's Dwarven Sniper. Now that we actually have a non-effigy player at NiP. Shame. Shame galore.
You should not be allowed to compete at TI if you don't have one.
Exactly.
That's why they disconnected him, our producer says.
Beautiful.
This is not Swedish.
All right.
To the front,
what
boys.
Is that?
To the front.
Saichus Komu tu Budet Bolno.
I'm pretty sure that was very far from...
That was exactly how it's pronounced.
The funny thing is, though, like, this is meant to be in the middle of the Pudge's jump to do the Ice Ice Baby dance move. But unfortunately, he doesn't finish it. Wait, what is... Really? Wait, hang on. What is this? He's actually got a triple... Did he get an effigy during the Vega versus Na'Vi game?
You must have.
On the 30th of May, 2015.
I didn't know you could have those.
He got an effigy inscription. I didn't know. This is the first one I've ever seen.
So you can have, like, tournament event effigies.
Supposedly, from what I understood, either when you watch a game, when it says X viewers got a drop,
it's only an effigy.
It's no longer items, it's effigies. So, but maybe they drop for the players too. Or he got it while watching.
Did the triple?
But it was his own team, so
did the triple kill that happen from a Latrak? Just saying.
Not sure. I don't know how they're connected if you have these.
Oh, this is probably the guy on Reddit who wanted to give an effigy to Vega. Nice guy.
Cool. What's the last one then before the players come back? Wait, that's it. There's only the 3. Well, I guess Vega did need effigy donations. Because they're missing out. While we got you here, Sin, what's your thoughts on the game so far?
I don't know. I agree with you guys that Sand King is just a little bit too excited moving around the map. I would definitely recommend getting the blink now as well.
He just completed the drums.
Wait, so he has... How much gold does he have?
0.
He just, like, he had 1,700, then he decided to buy the drums.
What? After dying twice.
He went phase, stout, quelling blade.
All right, here's my theory. I think their coach pulled the plug when he bought the drums, like right away.
What are you doing?
So now he has time to tell him no, and they reconnect, and he sells it for full value, and he gets the blink after.
I think it's already too late.
Wait, is that ETA 10 plus minutes?
10 minutes plus minus.
Okay. So roughly 10 minutes.
I don't know. My read on the game, NiP are obviously in a great position. And that's no rocket science, but it's also like just looking at the position, especially the PL is in with his amount of farm and how little they actually are able to pressure him. It seems almost impossible for Vega to kill him without a static storm.
The gyro is also insanely poor, by the way. I don't know if you guys have looked at his net worth yet.
Yeah. Did we note the 3-minute 1 CS gyro? Was that
yes, that was noted.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I was watching in the other room. But
that tri-lane was really effective. And then the other two lanes were at least even. The Clockwork actually did really well against Sandkane. I thought he would have a slightly tougher time versus the Caustic build.
It didn't really burn that many of his consumables. Like whenever the Caustic finally went off, Clockwork could see it coming, and he just backed up.
He just backed up, yeah. And the lane pushed, so he didn't really have to worry about getting the CS in.
Yeah. He sacrificed his farm when the creep wave was pushed out. Then it all just pushed in. It's like, oh sweet, I was farm under my tower.
All right, Andy. So you've got 10 minutes.
All right.
You're the coach of Vega here.
Okay. All right.
How do they win this game? What are you telling your players right now?
One reconnect.
This is $5,000 now. You're getting paid for this.
All right. So how do I win this game? This is tough, actually.
More importantly, how do you get them past minute 40?
Okay, the Sand King went drums. Okay, so he doesn't have Blink Dagger, so that's actually good, right?
Yeah,
because otherwise, I mean, Jonas would have a really easy time just counter-initiating, because Vega's only form of initiation is Clockwork, right? So that means the Sand King has a really easy game if he has Blink, but he doesn't, so I would say, you know what, relax, it's fine. Sand King doesn't have Blink yet. Maybe we find like one good smoke. Roshan hasn't been taken yet, to my knowledge. Yep, definitely not.
No, he hasn't.
I have a 5-minute gap in where I didn't know what happened because I came from the other stream.
They haven't.
Right?
They haven't.
So the last fight I saw was when they were inside of the jungle and they ended up losing SF, I think, on Vega, and maybe one more. And then after that, I am pretty much not caught up.
They're able to get 2 kills on the SK, one on bottom lane, one in mid since that point.
The first time he tried to go in bottom, thought he had a free epi kill on, I think it was the Disruptor.
It was a Disruptor,
and then the
tower.
Earthshaker was waiting behind him, so he just featured him and he died.
So he died between the two
and
towers.
then the mid fight, he walks in, he burrows, he tries to, or he went in, then he tried to back burrowing down the cliff, then he got glimpsed back and he died again. So he's just died twice in like the past 3 minutes.
And then rage port drums.
I actually think when you're in a position like this and you have no real clear way of taking a fight that you can guarantee that you can win, usually one of the best things that you can do is what Vega did in the prior game, which is just try to delay for as long as possible, and that way one team is more prone to making mistakes. And if you have heroes like Earthshaker and Clockwork, you know, you have big AoE wombo combo with your Disruptor, you can potentially turn a fight in a big way in the later stages, even if you're up against something like a PL.
So just look for one big team fight, basically.
I mean, it's not really what Vega did 100% last game, but you could see how the game complexion kind of changed the longer time went on. Like, Solo got more items. He was harder to lock down. The same thing can be said for what Vega have. If you get a couple of BKBs up on the SF, the Gyrocopter, the PL's burst damage potential with Diffusal kind of drops significantly. So I think that, in a way, delaying the game, yeah, it might hurt them in the sense that PL is a strong late game hero, but you still have your Shaker to fall back on, and you have plenty of AoE.
So you think it's better for Vega to go late, given the situation?
I think right now their Gyrocopter pretty much can't even fight. I mean, Pasha has brown boots. Like, what is he supposed to do? This PL has Shred, Tequila, almost Diffusal Blade as well.
He's almost got Diffusal.
He's close to Necro 1 on the gyro.
Okay, so he's fine.
Yeah, decent farm. Yeah, I like that.
Excellent support gyro farm.
But still, I think it's important to keep the proper mentality when you're in this position as Vega, is don't get over antsy and try to just go for a YOLO smoke and find kills, right? Because that's like the common play is, okay, well, we're really far behind. We need to find a pick or two. When in reality, a team like NiP, they're usually very slow at ending games, right? Like on average, even when they're like 10, 15,000 golden experience ahead, they don't just shove high ground. They wait. And then they wait, and then they wait, and then when they have like 30,000 experience, a gold day in the game.
Just like, I believe that was game 1 where they did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe you can use that against any team. The longer that you let the game go, the more prone you are to making mistakes, the more that you lose when you make those mistakes.
Buybacks are more costly, death timers are longer.
Yeah.
Like you said, you lose more gold and experience as well.
I think it is, like, that's what I would do. I'm not sure about Sind.
I don't know if they have a choice. Like, that's the other thing. I mean, you can't really play. Well, they could try, but it's not really one of those situations where, like, should we go, should we not? Like, the only way they even engage a fight, there are 2 ways, I guess. They either hookshot in or they glimpse back. They could try to initiate with Fissure, but they're still going to need one of the other's abilities to follow through. So when you look over at the NiP lineup, I think the PL, as mentioned before, is almost impossible to gank. Then you have double defensive supports, and you have a Sand King who has Burrow Strike to get out. So it's very limited how Vega find kills, but as long as they at least control their side of the map and, let's say, break even on farm, I think just relatively, by farming the same as NiP, they will close the gap with every minute. And then if they can manage to stall it out that long until, say, Shaker gets Blink, or maybe at least Gyro gets any sort of item, I would say a BKB early is probably the item once again in this game, then they increase their chances of winning a fight dramatically.
Would anybody like to change their prediction?
No.
I'm sticking with Vega because I can't jump ship when somebody's looking bad, you know? I'm just not that kind of guy.
All right, well, I'm sorry you're going to lose.
Loser talk, Andy.
Unfortunate.
Well, it would be loser talk either way.
Yeah, either he's an asshole backstabber or he's going to lose the bet. So either way, he loses. Or I guess he wins because at least he's a loyal
At least
supporter.
I didn't lose super hard because last game I thought it was just going to be 2-0 NiP and I thought I wouldn't even be having to sit here right now. I'd be out on the other end playing Mafia. But
are they playing Mafia?
Yes, they are.
Bastards.
Yeah.
We have Dota.
No, we don't need to play Mafia because we don't all need to kill each other at the end of this event. That is going to be the result of that game.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Some people get very upset when they lose.
They really do, and the attacks become personal. Like,
Well,
it's really.
I can't trust Blitz anymore. He's scummy now. I get scum reads on Blitz in day-to-day life now.
That's not even possible. Like, Blitz is like one of the happiest, nicest guys out there.
Did you see him?
And you're just like, he's just there, just like, I don't care. I'm saving EGM. Like, I'll play shit down.
He sold his sister down the river to win a game. He
No,
said,
that
"I
is
swear
true.
on my
What?
sister's life."
You know, that's how I knew. Like, even not
I
having
thought you
watched
said,
the
like,
game.
That's how you knew he was Mafia.
Because
thought
he
from a-
doesn't ever say stuff like that,
No, but
right?
actually,
That's true.
The way he presented it, he actually didn't do it anyway. He said, "I will." I can't remember what the.
I will
context
take
was.
the first opportunity to get him out of the game.
Yeah, but he never took one.
But he could have voted on EGM and he didn't. So,
Well, they were Mafia together.
doesn't matter. He could have gotten him out of the game.
I can't remember it, but actually his wording and the context, he didn't do it.
I see where he could put on his lawyer hat and argue that, but I don't know, man.
All that matters is that I'm the medic, and I saved Toby on night 2, and that was a good play.
I check Sind. He's scummy as hell. Why he's like putting a cup on his head like it's some sort of ornament. I'm not sensing that he's focused and trying to figure out the game right now. Well, and on that note, our producer is like, get these idiots off air.
It's like, would you like to go to a break, or would you like to just keep talking about random stuff that's happening at the hub?
There's only 2 people who aren't connected right now from NiP.
They said we need a few minutes. I think they're coming in very soon.
Yeah. It's always when you say let's go to a break, and then they all just turn back up again.
Hey, man, I'm fine right here, but it sounded like you just wanted to cut us off.
The bigger question is, what have we not talked about for this game right now? Is there anything that we have skipped over?
Well, we can look at items here, I suppose. Double check that we haven't missed anything.
Well, let's not bring up the SK items because we kind of already pounded.
Oh yeah,
on
we
that
could ask Draskell his opinion on that. I think he wasn't in here at the time. What do you think about Sandking going phase into drums?
I was actually going to ask why he bought drums and phase.
Okay.
Because I
we
think
were asking the same question, man.
and
We
a
don't
lot
know
of-
the answer.
So he was 1v1 against Clock.
Yeah.
So he had Stout Quelling Blade to help him CS. I think he went phase just to kind of dominate the lane a bit more. And then he went into a Bracer Magic Wand. And then I'm like, okay, surely he's going Blink now. And then he saved up 1,700 gold. He died once bottom. Then he goes mid. He dies again. And then he buys the drums when he could have bought them the whole time.
could have just been a tilt purchase, to be honest.
I think that's what it was.
I mean, it's a really bad reasoning, but I mean,
How
what
little self-control can you have?
what other reason is there? Honest to God, is there any reason why you buy drums in that scenario? I can think of 0. I mean, if you have
It's
enough
good for
money,
PL.
If you have enough money, yeah, but you want Arcanes for your team. Like, you have PL, and then you have Lesh, and you have Dazzle and Shadow Demon. They're all mana-reliant heroes.
If you're gonna do that, just buy Vlad's. Like, if you really want to help out the PL, just buy Vlad's.
I honestly, I'm not sure
Flat
what the idea is. It obviously helps him tank up more, so he can just go in and soak up damage, but you still...
I mean, this is coming from the
That's
guy
still not
whose
how
my
you-
subscriber icon is drums
Is a
of endurance,
bongo.
okay? And I still cannot find a
that's
reason
why we brought
would
you
buy
in, because
this
if
game.
anyone's going to defend it, Andy,
It would have been
you.
me, and unfortunately, I cannot find a solid defense.
You're throwing your EGM overboard right now.
I don't know what to say.
Sometimes you just got to be honest.
Like, in every scenario, I can see Blink being better than drums here. Like, there's actually, like, almost no situation where I could see that item being more useful than Blink.
It's hard to say, like, yeah, drums would be really great, so NiP could take a team fight just as SF finish the mech and before the Fusel is completed.
If you look at the way that Vega has to play the team fight, Cinderin said the only 2 forms of initiation are either you hookshot in or you glimpse in. Either way, Sand King can stay pretty much in fog the entire time, because if the clockwork goes in, you know you cannot be hooked when you're trying to channel your epicenter, and best case scenario, I guess, for Vega, they get a random flare on you and it stops your blink in, right? Like, that's one way. The other way is you just get spotted by a ward, which is much less likely than, you know, the former. So, I mean, just having a blink dagger already scares Vega enough. Like, when Jonas and Fan shows himself in lane and he doesn't have blink, Vega are going to be like, sweet, we can farm. We don't have to worry about that blink initiation from smoke or anything like that. Like, it's actually...
It's going to bolster them from a more moral point of view.
I don't know. I'm with Sid. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is a reason, because otherwise you wouldn't have bought it. And I mean, this is an elimination game, so he's got to have some... Not a
good game just to YOLO. I'm mad by drums. So.
Maybe he just disconnected and then the bot bought for him.
I will also say NiP don't really tilt, at least from what I've seen. I mean,
no, I don't.
Of course, everyone can tilt on some level, but they're very calm in general.
Yeah.
They're all very supportive of each other. I've seen them lose at events and not fight. I mean, some players might argue like you should be upset if you lose an event, and like someone should get angry. I know Eternal Envy's kind of, I've heard him say that in the past in his blogs and just in interactions with him directly, but that's not really who NiP are. So it's probably not a tilt purchase. Maybe he just feels like their 5-man's really strong right now, and drums brings you a bit more just for pushing. But again, it's like, so does a great blink initiation.
I'm just waiting for Sin to stare at the screen long enough to come up with a reason why he bought drums. That's my play.
That's your play.
I'm going for the long game.
The long con.
Yeah.
Let's say he has never played Dota before. Okay. So let's say he has never played Dota before, and he looks in the store, and he's like, "This is how much gold I have," and then he tries to find like the prettiest item design that's very visually appealing.
Just no.
It's got like these rippling circles coming out. It's very pretty.
Send, please.
Maybe he played the drums as a kid.
That's true. He might just be a musical person.
Yeah.
Or he's like
He's very rhythmic.
The drums really fit Epicenter. Like, boom, 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 boom.
You could be playing it with your tail. That's a good point.
So you're saying he's role-playing Sand King?
He's actually role-playing Sand King.
Do you think he's wearing a Sand King cosplay in real life?
Doesn't really make sense to buy boots if you're
I think he's actually just playing from a beach.
Well, it depends how many
his
pairs.
Whole body
Like if you're playing Sand King, you get like 3 pairs of boots, and then it will work.
Oh my god.
He does have 6 legs, right?
So?
I don't know. Neither do I.
It's hard to tell with that set. Like, I'm fairly certain. Like,
Look at that hat.
Weapus, in tribute to Bruno, we need a leg count. Over on the Sand King.
Well, you don't count the claws, right?
Yeah,
no,
the claws. Right?
Is it 6 or is it 4?
It's 6.
It's 6.
It's hard. Okay, yeah.
Well, see, there's 3 on one
6.
side, so my brilliant math degree would suggest that we got 6.
There was a bush that was.
Or he's got a weird 3-1 like quad pod going on. But
maybe SK shouldn't actually have like 3 on each side. Lost one in a battle sometime, and then has this weird limp.
I mean, that should be your low health animation, right? One of your legs just falls off, and you're running back to base, missing one of them. Just,
yeah, that'd be
What's
perfect.
that face?
How do you guys rate these teams' chances against 4 anchors? Looking at how they've played today.
Iffy.
NiP 50-50. If they play, like, if they get and play solidly, that's, I mean,
if they do well, they'll do well.
if they get the picks, they are looking for. The question is how well prepared 4ASC will be, and if they will read this best of 3 in the right way. But I would say NiP for me, if they win 50-50 roughly, and Vega 40-60.
Okay.
I still think NiP has the best chance against 4ASC, and you're seeing it in these games. They're just flat out playing better early game. They're actually dominating.
This game they just
threw it away.
This game it felt like they just completely outlaned them. Like, was there anything Vega could have done lane wise? Like that tri lane just got wrecked.
I don't think so. I think the lane has way too much kill power. Every single time NiP found a disruption, it was just like instantly dead hero. There's nothing you can really do to counteract that unless the Shaker is always in a perfect position. But looks like game could be starting again.
Yeah.
All right.
This game.
We are back into it, and we'll let Andy and Sint here have a break. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, boys. See, now that would have been terrible if this is a dual cast only.
I don't even want to know what sort of plays you would have been talking about, Toby.
Ah, yes! How did we do? Okay, let's get to the game.
Think of the children. Solo and... Our producer's already he's threatening Toby here, but
what are you threatening me? I didn't say anything. It's just what you think I'm going to say.
He knows what you're thinking, and he won't allow it. But anyway, back underway here. Looks like Vega is going to hold the line in their bottom lane, and man, that is a fast diffusal blade for an aggro tri-lane PL.
It's kind of funny. I actually thought the diffusal blade was a little bit later than that, but I didn't realize he was that close.
Yeah, I thought he was like 16 and a half minutes.
Yeah,
he would have it.
Yeah, because that would then make sense for the Vega grouping up on the bottom lane and then pushing. But I'm still very, very concerned about this SF, where it says 6,100 net worth. I just want to remove like 2.5k-ish away and say, your mech is useless. Like, it's not going to be able to do anything during these fights. And it's also you're going to say, I can bottle up during a fight when you got like a couple of PLs hitting you.
It's going to help, but at the same time, even if he has the mana to get it off, the thing is that NiP are just getting tanky. The PL, as mentioned, is almost impossible to kill unless you glimpse him into Static Storm, and they cannot disrupt /heal/Graven, which means he's horribly out of position, basically. So he can't really die. Lesh has the Bloodstone. He's incredibly tanky and can deny himself, and has the same supports to back him up. And as mentioned, you've got the Bongo Sand King. He's basically got 5/2/2 move speed, man, so there's no killing him.
That's the little drummer boy coming in from Sweden.
Maybe this is the plan. So see, instead of getting a Blink Dagger, he's going to Quelling Blade his way into perfect initiations every time.
I think we're really scraping the bottom of that barrel. Nice hook shot in. So Seal Kiss, the Dazzle. He's going to go for the weave first and then for the Shallow Grave. He's doing that on purpose, primarily because the TP support's going to now arrive, and then this happens. And, well, he can drum charge and chase, but he's not going to do so. Mag will, in fact, run away. Well, while in middle lane, they lance it out, and they just destroy Pasha. There's a colorful array of lights, which is the TP of Vega. The defensive disruption saves him. The Echo Slam! It was too early from Zima! It didn't hit Jack! And now they can turn around, lance it up, and Vega just committed so heavily. Limp is looking for this lightning kill over on Mag, but the cogs will keep him alive, but now he's too low!
They got him! It's a massacre! It's 3 dead! It could have been even worse. Sand King, by the way, ended up blowing his epi there on the counter gank, but didn't really matter.
Who cares?
Didn't matter. Everything's going fine. He didn't even have to use a drum charge. He's saving them for later. So, 11 Bloodstone charges.
I just want to apologize to every single pro player that's tuning in right now who is just like, you should never accuse pro players of doing anything. But luckily, we're not doing that. That's Syndred and Rascal.
No one was accusing, okay? We're all inquisitive.
Yes.
That's a difference.
We are wondering why. Oh, why?
They're in a really good position here. I mean, that goes pretty much without saying. Sand King can now, if he wants to go into Blink, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's just going to get a Force Staff. It would be good against the Clockwork, but you can't really kill anyone. They have... By the way, the graph is totally messed up.
That's the pause.
They have they have Shadow Demon, Dazzle, and they're leading. And they already have great solutions to hookshot anyway. Like this, that's my big issue for Vega. I feel like the only way they want to fight now is when NiP overplay their hand. And
can you even overplay your hand when you got a Dazzle right behind you and a PL that can doppelganger away?
They have to severely overextend into the Dire base basically.
Because even that fight they have underneath the tier 2 tower, I can say under. Like the SD disruption came in. He was the first one to arrive, and thinking, okay, now they got a chance to kill off the PL. But disruption wastes majority of that Static Storm, majority of the control time. So you've got a hero like Dazzle and SD that can stop practically any initiation in from Vega if they're in a good position.
There's just too much pressure on the Disruptor. He has to catch both defensive supports and whoever he wants to kill, or he just tries to kill one of those defensive supports. But then if he doesn't catch both, the other one's going to save or at least delay the kill attempt on the Shadow Demon or the Dazzle. So again, it's just a lot of pressure on him. I think that's where for Vega, they have to look for the big fight here. Ideally, Earthshaker gets his blink. I mean, 19 minutes in with the way this game is going, it's going to take a little while. He's actually got 1,800 gold.
Is this a game
not too bad?
You could get away with? I'm just seeing 2.8k gold on the PL, and I'm wondering what is in his mind right now. Okay,
Manta.
Yeah, it
probably
is.
The build.
It is.
Look at the Yasha.
Because I was wondering if NiP felt so far ahead, and you're still on a pretty good timing for it, could you even get away with a Radiance build? It's classic, but it doesn't fit the current PL.
The current PL, it's much more about just constant fight. Radiance would be okay in the clashes in the sense that like everyone's HP pool's pretty poor on Vega, but
it's just if it was the old PL, it would make a lot more sense.
It doesn't scale. He's already going to flash from like a monster, and a round of applause from Toby for our old fallen comrade who's resurrected.
I should have had a round of drums.
The Blink Dagger.
The Blink Dagger. It's still in a great time. 20 minutes in. Now Limp. Hook shot it on. There's no way to get away from this one, so he's got to try and turn a 5. He doesn't want to. There's a Blade Mail over on Mag, and he can't get outside the call down, and that'll be a kill.
He should have just suicided sooner. He had a ward there. He saw the other heroes coming in to try and kill him, so I think just got a little greedy, thought he could walk his way out. That is a big kill, though. I would like to know how much of a gold swing that is in the end.
You can hit that fight recap and, oh, missed it by that much.
I didn't give you much time to react. My apologies.
But you do get a Disruptor, very quickly dying to a PL.
Yeah. You can't be off on your own as a support. This PL will just slaughter you.
The Earthshaker, though, does have his Blink Dagger. He picked that up just directly after the last kill. So Seema has a way to jump in and do a hell of a lot of damage. It's still only a level 1 Echo Slam, but he's at least got the 3 points of Aftershock in there.
It could be big. They still have a terrified team fight. It's just executing it without the defensive supports completely turning the fight is a little tricky, but now there's the BKB on Shadowfiend, and there's actually zero way to stop the Requiem. They cannot cancel the channel, so...
It wouldn't be the first time no one's carried Vega to victory on the back of an SF.
The other nice thing... Yeah, it certainly wouldn't. The other nice thing is, as you mentioned, mana can be an issue because of the Diffusal Blade, but now he won't have to worry about getting mana burned.
Nice, nice, nice. Still needs the rest of the team to catch up, though. That Gyrocopter needs to find a lot more damage output during these engagements. He can't rely on just the SF because... Well, okay. Well, I was thinking that was going to happen where he could just blink in and Burrow strike him, but the SK just ran away.
For Era here. They have the new shiny Blink Dagger, and there you go. Dunk to start. Static Storm to fall. Kinetic Field comes down, and they got him where they want him, but he walks to the left, tries to retreat, can't make it out. Very big kill by Vega.
Meanwhile, on North, the SF will be TPing away to safety. Triggers his BKB, so 10 seconds down the drain. It'll have 9 seconds later on.
Not sure what the plan is here for Mag. He's not going in even 2v3. That's not happening. So
we had the Earthshaker behind him again, but there's no Echo Slam, so it's just a Fissure and Totem Stomp available.
These kills are big for Vega. They don't need to get a huge team fight. Just a kill here or there can make a big difference.
It's space creating. That's really what it is, because now the SF has the potential to go into his into his jungle, or Vega can stack that up. You've still got Vega. Yeah, it just feels like we're running a broken record for this series. You have to check out the Ancients of Vega because you know they're going to be farming it.
I would like to see them try and pressure a little more on the side of NiP, but it seems like they're contentious to trade here. They have Lesh PL. Arguably, that's at least as good, if not better, late game compared to Shadowfiend Gyrocopter. There's a lot of AoE to deal with the PL illusions, but you can always go for more of that just right-clicking combat build. We've seen that work pretty well into the Satanic, Abyssal Blade, MKB, probably a necessary item at some point to deal with the likely double butterflies coming out. So I think they go reasonably late, and they have excellent defensive supports, but still, with the start NiP have had, it seems crazy not to try and choke Vega a little more. Get some aggressive wards up, ideally block the Ancient stacks or try and steal them. But for now, NiP maybe a bit shaken by these couple of kills that have happened and adjusting to a more defensive posture accordingly.
I really wouldn't want to give Vega any more space than you really, really need to. If possible, I'd take out these tier 2 towers in the mid and the bottom. Priority targets number 1 and 2. Primarily because you want to make sure you can kill off Roshan. Now, you do have sort of enough damage to get through him. I don't know if they're going to medallion on that Dazzle yet or on the ST, but
I think they do.
Yeah, they do. So they've actually got ways that they can burn through Roshan nice and quickly, and they can't get that to Vega. Vega's team fights are already scary enough. And having an Aegis Immortal, you got potential to get up on high ground.
They find the Shadow Demon, though. The 2-hero fissure comes through. Hanskin can't even react. He's dead. But Limp's running in. He's got a fresh BKB available if he wants to engage. And I don't know if they want to fight against him, Toby. They do have a BKB also up and no one, but in comes the PL looking for the backliners on both sides. Jonas has isolated solo. Meanwhile, no one going to work. There's the hook. The BKB is going to end soon. He does have the Bloodstone Suicide if need be. And in comes the Shaker again with the fissure. Huge combo plays from NiP, wiping 4 heroes off the map. Only the Sand King left standing, and again he blew his epicenter. Just got the Disruptor though.
Man, yeah, Solo, Vega only losing 1 in that fight. NiP got crushed. And not only just crushed, they got crushed on a choke point. They burned through their BKBs, but the Clockwork Hookshot is what made that happen. It didn't matter that the Shallow Grave came out from Dazzle. It was the fact that you were able to isolate the 2 heroes together, and there was just no escape. So it starts off here. Limp tries to run away, but Mag is your man here. Waits long enough. Steel Kid actually getting pulled into the middle of the cogs, and even that Echo Slam meant that no help could come from the back lines at all.
And the unfortunate thing was when PL Phantom rushed in. That was right when Shaker came in with the Blink Echo. So he got caught on top of the Shadow Feed while Requiem was being channeled, and then he just instantly popped without getting to do anything. That was a bit unfortunate for Era, but in general, NiP were just very hesitant in that fight. Uh-oh, no one dropping really low to the Shadow Poison.
Gotta be careful. Burrow strike through. Aegis Immortus in the hands of the Gyrocopter and was killed by Dire, but the cooldown's going to kill off Unison Farm. Limp is in the middle of this battle with that Pulse Nova trying to burn through Solid. The Meg Charge from Pasha keeping him alive a lot longer, just long enough that he can keep battling into Limp. The Fissure is blocking his path out of here at the same time that Aegis has burned off, and now it's NiP standing their ground, but Limp, the Shallow Grave's the only thing keeping him alive, and now that's worn off too. But the PL's in here. How much damage have you got? It is not enough to kill off the Gyrocopter, but NiP, a quick turn of the fight, and they can add this into momentum on the bottom lane. 5 for 2.
Well, they win a huge team fight. They immediately take a very risky Roche fight, just charging into the pit here, and they get punished. It's just one of those games, man. You know, 1 second you win a fight, next second you think that the world's your oyster, but NiP were quick to punish it. A well-executed fight, and that was without the Aegis steal. They were pretty close to jacking the Aegis, and if they do that, this is even more of a train wreck. So we'll see the fight once again here as the Sand King came in.
One was so low.
He only got a... Actually, I think he did get the Gyrocopter there, but 2-hero Burrow Strike anyway. Then the Shadow Fiend just stands his ground. Call down wasn't really the best, didn't hit a whole lot. They'd managed to bully Limp back, and this was the unveiling, I believe, of the Gyrocopter BKB, but the problem is they didn't do anything to PL or one of the defensive ports, the Shadow Demon, and then the Dazzle comes in as well. Once the BKBs were off, Vega are much easier to bring down, and they blew all of their BKBs just to try and fight Limp. They do finally get him, but the damage was already done at that point.
Yeah, it really was. All right, so we go back to the world of the living, 17 to 11, or the world of the currently living, with a BKB TP out. These BKBs are going to be down like 6 seconds for some of these heroes already.
It's reminding me a lot of the last game, where BKBs just got popped kind of willy-nilly by both teams, and then you get to later on in the game, and they're not up when you need them.
So we got 8, 7, and the last one being, is it the track? I think it's the track. 8, 7, and 8. These just burn through so early. It's almost one of those games where you remember why you wanted to have that Bloodstone on the last track from the very, very start, so then you can build into BKB when you maybe hit like 35, 40 minutes when it was like getting in and you want to have that longer duration during the team fights, but...
Yeah, it's been
he got both already, so it doesn't matter.
It's been a bit of a sloppy run here from NiP in general. Good play by Vega, and it is the nature of their draft that if you ever slip up, they can really punish you. And Vega is going to roll the dice again on a big team fight, but they have an excellent ward on the high ground to set this whole thing up. I don't think NiP know about it. They're about to get...
No! It's not real!
Oh, boy. That could have been a game-changing fight. And did that hit after they smoked?
It hit after they smoked.
So I don't think they actually know this is coming.
It might have it might have had flight vision. It might have actually had the flight vision when it came in to see it.
They might have seen it.
Oh man, I can't believe they just dunked them.
So are we going to see a double smoke whiff? Is that what we're headed towards? This could end up being a fight, though.
It depends where NiP end up. Like, if they curve up to the top now, like, they don't have any vision. Actually, they have vision at the bottom lane. There's an observer ward down there that saw the SF go down south. So that's what they're searching for.
No, the Rockets come in. They don't actually see NiP, but Vega must have seen it because they are ready for an engagement. I don't think NiP want to go on this. This is at least not this way. This is a pretty risky approach.
NiP will be fine with this if they can get that weave off at the very, very start, almost as a scouting, especially like this. Seal Kid, Disruption, Catcher, that was actually coming out from Hanskin. Then for the Purge, no one. The Fissure buying him some space, but the weave having its effect. They can just push the tier 3 tower, and Vega cannot come in for 10 seconds.
They can't hold the tier 2 now. They're going to have to give this up.
Yep.
Already you see Disruptor I think he just TP'd out towards top, so they're going to try and split push a little bit, but did
he only just TP up there?
I believe so. If NiP see this, they may threaten high ground.
Yeah, it would make sense. Even if you're just doing some chip damage into the tier 3 tower, it's all setting up for the final victory. And as the guys were saying before, like NiP, they have trouble finishing the game. So if they can get up on the high ground and start chipping away at the tier 3 tower and open up the racks as an option, then that's a chance. That's a chance right there for NiP.
Well, we'll have another pause here as we have another disconnect. Jonas having some issues now. Very unfortunate time for this to be happening.
Yeah, especially, honestly, with his positioning.
It seemed like it hurt NiP, if anything. They had a couple of bad fights after the pause. So
well, it's one of those things like you know it as well. When we sit in the studio and you have tech difficulties, you get really frustrated and you get slightly angry, and then you try and come back and focus on the job at hand. And ultimately, it's not the easiest thing to do.
And when you're playing, and this is a TI qualifier, it's a totally different ballgame at that point.
Oh yeah, there's so much more pressure.
There is no game more important for either of these teams than the one they're playing right now. Like you look at,
it's all like there's like $10 million up for grabs currently. And
the Immortal 3, have the Immortal 3s actually come out yet?
We hit the stretch goal, but currently
they're being polished.
Yeah, there's a little bit of wax on, wax off action coming from Valve. But don't worry, you get to keep the car at the end of your training.
Yeah, once those come out, it's not going to be a $10 million prize pool. That's for sure. The Immortals have been quite good this year. I've been impressed.
Yeah, I actually think it was just a nice upgrade to the animations, like especially the Shreks. I think everyone here at
the Enigma black hole is crazy as well.
It is.
Honestly, I find it too much because like it kind of looks like he's used a BKB, which I find a little confusing. But I guess you get used to it.
I really enjoyed it the first time I looked at it, and then the critic in me kicked in, and I'm like, there's too much gold. It's too much bling.
Like you prefer a more subtle tone.
Like maybe if like a 50 Cent song came on at the same time the black hole was being cast, then it would all kind of match up.
I'm sure that can be arranged through a mod.
I'm fairly certain too, and then I'll get back banned.
You could have loads of money going, you know.
It's just as the black hole goes ching 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 ching.
I'm sure that could be arranged.
Anything is possible in the world of Dota.
Hey, Big Daddy said it. It must be true.
What?
Oh, he said anything could work. It's his famous line.
Okay. Can this work? Maelstrom,
No.
Tidehunter. Why did you have to shut me down before I even say it?
No.
Dendy tried it. Dendy tried to make me believe it.
Maelstrom, Tidehunter.
Maelstrom, Tidehunter.
Could be okay versus like an illusion-based carry, I suppose, as your very late game item. But generally, you're looking for someone else to do that.
It's just the wonderful attack speed of a Tidehunter.
But anything can work. That's the point.
Anything is possible. You could be a TI next time. Open qualifiers. You can come in. You can pull the yellow submarine. Just like
right. They had a great run. That's what I love about TI qualifiers. There's always that team that just, even if they don't win, they surprise you, and then like they build themselves for the opportunity to make a run next year. Mm-hmm. Look a year ago, the Korean teams all fell short. Now all of a sudden we've got MVP Hot Six going to TI, MVP Phoenix with a shot to go, Rave, who's technically more of a Filipino team, but playing out of Korea with a shot. I think Gods has lost another bet with K-pop Tosis this time. He just keeps on losing bets.
Really got to stop betting on games.
He should not bet on anything.
Like for all the predictions, for all the stuff that Gods knows, whenever he makes a bet, he's always wrong.
He's always wrong. And the worst part is that
the payments.
We're the ones that get victimized. Who wanted to see him wearing that? I didn't want to see that.
I didn't want to see it, but Reddit said he had to do it.
He made a bet.
It was the TI2 bet that he lost. It was the TI3 bet that he lost to me.
Yeah, and he did it like shortly before TI4.
It took him so long. Painful. So long to deliver.
It was painful.
Yeah, the promises of BTS.
Hey.
Actually, your promises are very, very good. God's a little shaky.
Don't conflate me with, hey, well, you shouldn't talk. You're an Aussie, man. Australians have
I'm not saying just because Gods can't keep a promise, I now can't keep a promise.
Your people have a history. Let's just put it that way.
My people?
You're a prison colonist. Why do you think that we sent you guys there?
What do you mean we?
The non-Australians.
You were part of the English Empire? You're from America.
We threw off the chains.
You didn't throw off the chains.
You were enslaved and sent away.
Just
to rot in the southern hemisphere. This is what happens when we have long pauses.
Yes, it gets a little Happy Australia Day whenever it comes up, everyone. Yeah.
Sin's just
is this
pounding whatever.
Is this the time we actually bring Sind and Draskell back for their thoughts? Because right now, guys, I want to ask you the most critical question of all.
No.
Was the one...
No.
Just put his mic right now.
Peace. I'm out.
Is the one drum charge that SK has used in the last 15 minutes worth it?
Yes.
I didn't even know when he used it. I noticed it when we
I think it was when he was chasing the secret shop to get the kill on the support.
Okay.
When they lost 4 heroes.
I have a more relevant question. Who do you think is winning this game? Because I have no idea anymore.
I think it's quite even
I
now.
actually think that this is actually the best game for Toby and Ellie to cast together because most of the normal logic that we use in watching Dota does not apply. It's just like totally out the window.
It's chaos.
I mean, look at last game, and what world is Vega supposed to win that game? And what world is Vega supposed to still be in this game?
This game should be over. It's nearly 30 minutes.
I don't know if
they
it's
won
just like,
all 3 lanes. They got first blood. They got a second kill.
It was momentum. NiP lost the momentum. Like the PL still got it, but there's like that horrible fight around the Radiant Ancients. And the SK was never really moving on to a new item.
I mean, a large part of the reason why Vega are in the game is because of Seema, like 100%. Like, Mag had a really nice hook shot and that choke point around the Radiant Ancients when he initiated, and they got an echo onto the PL, and they got, what, 4 kills?
I think it was a 3-hero fissure.
That was the turnaround, like, right there. So even, like, echoing the illusion, I could forgive that. Echoing when the disruption was still on, I can forgive that because he has kept his team in the game.
I do slightly question what Jonas was doing, though. He spent a lot of time, I think, chasing the disruptor, and I think he even blew epicenter on him. Well, the rest of the fights break out. He's not even there.
It's just compared to how fairly structured I feel like NiP played, at least in the first game, and also you said for you it was pretty much the perfect performance so far in the qualifier, the most perfectly played game. The second game they play a really solid early game. In the mid game they have a couple of questionable decisions, but they got outplayed by Vega. There wasn't like multiple moments where you're just like, what the hell is going on? But in this game it just seems like, it almost seems when the team fights are engaged, someone rolls the dice. And if it's a 4 or higher, Vega wins, and if it's a 3 or lower, NiP wins. It's just, the movements are very chaotic. It doesn't seem very thought through how they engage, how they structure it. We've come back to this Sand King Blink Dagger on multiple occasions. I feel like that might have given Vega a little bit of a loophole to actually get back into the game. So it's strange to see an NiP that were looking so incredibly good in Game 1 show a different type of weakness in Game 2, and now in Game 3 I feel like they're not making the same kind of mistakes as in Game 2, I feel.
And it seems a little mystifying. It's not like you can say they're exhausted. This is their only match of the day, so...
It's just got to be pressure, right?
I think it's just pressure.
It has to be. Yeah. There's a couple of really strange things in this game. And there's actually one thing we haven't mentioned. They had the full disconnect. And actually staying in the zone and staying focused in the game, you lose your feeling for it. Like, even though nothing happens, just being out of the game for 10 minutes, you come back. It's the same for both teams. There's just some things where you just need to play the game again for 2 minutes, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is what we were doing. Oh yeah, this is the current status of the game. And if you come back like that and you start taking a fight, you actually completely like... It's difficult to explain it in any other way than just saying when you come back in, it's like it's a new game and you just need to settle down.
And in this case, I mean, there are rules. At some point, the admin probably makes a call you got to play on, and that is not how you want qualifiers to be decided.
Yeah, I really hope that's not going to happen.
They cannot micro Jonas and Farm at this level.
Maybe the game would be postponed in that case. I'm not entirely sure, but that's at least going to be a worry for NiP. Like, at some point, they're focused on shit. I hope we don't get DQ'd or forced to play 4v5. Then you manage to get back in the game, but you're like you said, Sin, lost your feel for it.
Yeah, Dota's definitely a game where you want to warm up. Like, I know I haven't touched the game in like 8 days, and when I go home, I am going to be a can of rust. Yeah. And I mean, just having that, I guess, your immersion broken, if you want to call it that, when playing Dota, it can be very, very bad for you, just coming back in and trying to readjust. So hopefully it doesn't affect him too much, but apparently 2 to 3 minutes NiP time for those of us at home is around 10 to 15 minutes.
Is that Valve time?
Yes, that is.
Well, everything moves pretty slowly in Sweden, right?
We'll start this game when Source 2 gets
released. The sun's
released.
up for like 18 hours a day, I think, right now. Something like that.
I don't even know who it favors. Like, that's another thing. I think some teams are better than others at dealing with pauses. It's also just an experience thing, I guess. If you're a team that are used to having pauses all the time, maybe you're better at dealing with pauses, but...
NiP normally, they don't really pause ever.
No. Yeah. So if they get into a long pause like this and they're not used to, like, picking it back up again, it really destroys the flow of the game. I talked to a couple of guys at the summit about it as well, and it seems like that's like the common consensus is that pauses are really bad and actually are a lot more impactful than people think. Where they're just like, oh, it sucks, we have to wait. But for the players, it's actually even worse. Because they end up playing worse. Like, I don't think there's any team that generally tends to benefit from pauses. It's about who loses less.
Right. Both teams will play worse, but maybe one team gets more affected by the pause.
Yes. Except, like, we've had some times in the past where there were accusations of tactical pauses, like pausing in the moment to make a really good counterplay, and that might have happened on one or two occasions, but I can't remember a single time in the last year where I've seen any situation where you could accuse one of the teams of that. So yeah. I'm not buying
and
that.
especially not in this moment. Like this moment, everyone's so far back that there's no advantage which is being gained by either of the teams for this.
Well, let's hope it's 1 to 2 minutes.
Uh-oh, they're going the wrong way here.
They lost Teal.
Yeah, that was Lashrak.
They're definitely not going the right way.
Oh.
How many times do you ever respond to your color in game?
That's really an NA sort
that
of
is
thing.
An NA
actually.
Dota thing, especially.
I just called him Teal here because I can't see his nickname, but
like I'll do that kind of stuff in like Warcraft 3 custom maps when your color is painted on your units. And that makes more sense, but you don't have any like color coordinated heroes here.
I think it's just easier for people from the NA scene to just have that like emotional disconnect of I don't even recognize you as a person when I'm playing Dota.
The best
it's
part
just like
is,
you are a color and that is it.
The best part is like it mainly is an in-house thing, and they all know each other too.
Yeah.
Like our TZ will be calling IX Mike like light blue or something. You know, like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge you by your real name. That's how bad you're playing.
Yeah, it is 100% an NA Dota thing.
Well, we gained one, we lost one.
I mean, we're getting there.
Lashrak is back in, SD's out. They did.
How are we getting there?
Because they're lined up in a row, Cinderin. Synergy. It's symmetrical.
So what happens? So you're saying Shadow Demon
DCs,
Shadow Demon reconnects, and then Gyro DCs,
yes,
because he's on the other end, and then they play 4 and 4.
There you go.
All right.
We're playing whack-a-mole, apparently.
I didn't bring my hammer.
In all seriousness, though, I really do think that Vega should not have any, like, the fact that they are in the game to this magnitude, I think just means that it's 100% pressure for NiP. Like, this is the first time where I've seen them play a series where I actually feel like their nerves are making them play differently. Which is obviously, like, okay, of course, you're in an elimination game, you're going to have nerves, right? But I think if you're going up against any, like, invited TI team qualified, or invited teams to TI, you can't have that affect you. Like, you need to get over it.
Can we actually just check one thing, Mr. Observer, if his hands are on the mouse? Can you look up and see if there's vision of the Disruptor on top lane? For the Radiant side?
They're going to see him in a second.
So they don't.
Do you guys think NiP goes high ground here?
Well, that was where my logic was going. I'm like, what information does NiP have right now? They're about to take a tier 2 tower, but they don't see the Disruptor on the top lane. So they don't know that Disruptor is TP'd up there to farm the lane. If they see him there, they're going to realize, okay, he's moved so quickly, he had to have TP'd up there. So if they can get that information, if they can work it out too, and if they can remain focused enough after the break, that they can see the Disruptor and go, oh wait, he TP'd because of the time, then they could just try and take out the tier 3 tower on bottom lane.
I don't know, I think the Shaker is still bottom lane, correct? It's hard for me to see the mini-map.
Yeah, the Shaker's on bottom lane, but he also blew his Echo Slam.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't even know now. I've lost my perspective of time. Was that when he blew it on the Illusion?
That was the...
No.
That was too long ago. That was too long ago.
Yeah, I think you can just fissure the ramp, though. Like, you can delay for a very long time, even without the Disruptor being around. You have Shadow Fiend Rays to clear, and then you also have, like, Flare, and you have Call Down, Flat Cannon. There's a lot of methods that Vega have for deep-pushing. I think right now, NiP, there's, like, almost 0% chance they would try to go high ground.
Okay. This is...
Oh, it's still not fair. Okay, our sense of time is just...
Yeah, it's
we're also tilting right now, guys.
Yeah. Are we?
It's like
totally tilting. Losing our mind.
Can we just see it again? Just the dunk on the Illusion.
Is there a way to do that?
Why don't we just start replaying the whole game from the start?
Yeah, let's
start running it back.
So you basically want a low light reel.
We need to...
Can we please see the completely failed smoke gank of this game? That is what I would love to see right now.
The top fails.
That's just an Australian thing, right? I mean, Gods loves when teams get eliminated. I love seeing teams lose. That's the best. I love seeing teams fuck up their games.
Day 3 of the summit. We show up to start the day. He sits down on the couch. He introduces the show. Here's the matches we have coming up. And he turns to the couch. He says, "We get to see teams start going home today." and he had this like shit-eating grin on his face. It was almost like manic excitement. It's like, dude, you're a sadist. There's actually something wrong with you. Yeah, he really enjoyed it.
Most Australians love the underdogs.
Yeah.
But
they love the underdogs
but
when they get kicked out of the tournament. Yes.
At the same time, though, it is definitely an Australian thing to just laugh about everything, and the worse it is, the bigger the laugh. Like, it's just it's
very morbid humor then.
Yeah, it's very morbid humor. It's very similar to Monty Python. Like, nothing is sacred, everything is permitted.
Okay.
Like, very morphed Assassin's Creed kind of way too.
We've got all players in the game.
We
actually.
do.
So
they re-kicked it in, but NiP.
Major progress.
They did this before, where so they want to take. Actually, this Mag wants to take a second. NiP took like 2 minutes before. I don't know if it's to check something out, or if they just want to get their minds back into where they are.
I think that might actually be the case. Like, the one team comes back, maybe Vega have just taken a little break themselves, and they're just like, okay, let's quickly recap. Where are we in the game?
Oh.
And they're ready to go.
Here we go.
Let's play Dota.
Let's get the answer to the ultimate question.
All right.
It's 32.
Game on. They're already TP'ing out, so I don't think
42.
they did not know about the disruptor rotation. And in any case, they're going to play it safe here. So they'll get a nice ward up. They are kind of setting up shop outside of the Dire base. And should anyone from Vega leave, they might go on this.
They really want to try and find a pick off.
There's no BKB. Oh, the rocket's on.
Rocket went right over the top of the SK's head.
Close call. If they go on the Shadow Fiend there, he has no escape.
Yep.
There's absolutely no way to get him out.
Well, there's also no reason for NiP to try and force a fight, so it's only if Vega move themselves out of position. So back to farming. To get this PL up, is he going BKB too?
Yeah, I think we may see Era transition into that more like head-on combat build, which is normally BKB. There's a Satanic in there. I think this game you need to have an MKB at some point. Maybe not now, but sometime.
Unless he wants to do what the SF's doing, which is, okay, we have a 30-minute S and Y over on the Shadow Fiend.
That's just not an item you buy at 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I like 99%.
Okay. Either Draskill's going for touchdown right now, or if he's just asking the heavens why, oh god, why.
Well, we've got the drums. We've got the 30-minute Sanji Yasha.
It's definitely been a unique game for the Dakotas to go back over piece by piece to understand why things were done.
They're saving strats for the next round, okay? They would give away too much. Okay. Sanji Yasha, it's not a terrible item on Shadow Fiend if you get it early, but at this point you need to. It looks like this is going to be more of a late game.
Yeah,
if they're gonna win,
it looks like something you're gonna have to sell.
Yeah, exactly. If they're gonna win, it's not going to be in the next 10, 15
unless Vega's mindset. Like we can see the numbers. Like, we can see how far they're moving ahead and the potential that their team has got. Maybe they're not keeping the whole perspective up right now, and the SF's just like, I need something now. I don't want something later. I need something now, and I'll build into like my Skadi next item, and this will then just make me boss. Like, maybe that's the mindset. That's a really good observer one. That's the Dire observer one on the hill, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's red.
He's got a Force Staff, though, so you can't really go on him with the clock.
No, but it means if NiP are prepping to try and like attack the mid, or they're thinking Vega are going to force into the tier 1 tower, it's not going to happen because they know the SK's there ready to counter-initiate. Which is great for Vega. It means they see what's coming first, and it kind of slows everything down to farming again, or NiP have to rotate into a more unfavorable position to take a fight.
Well, we'll see what they have in mind here. The SNY, it has a nice build-up, but I'm pretty sure he had gold to go for something bigger at that point, which is where it's kind of a strange purchase. You could be working towards a Manta style, a Butterfly. Butterfly is a must-buy this game on both of their cores, because illusion-based carries as well as summon-based strats like familiars, they cannot get True Strike on the illusions or on familiars, Lycan summons. So I feel it's a mandatory item in this type of game, and it is going to delay it a little bit. Sure, the main PL can have an MKB, but there's a lot of situations where you don't get to right-click. If there's good cog placement, if you're getting chain stunned, of course, your illusions are kind of your reliable source of damage, and not getting evasion fairly early is gonna really hurt his ability to withstand the PL onslaught. But we'll see. For now, the game slows down a lot. It looks like both teams are going to farm. Vega are getting a lot of space. They're not really being pressured too much. Have not seen NiP go for a push or a gank in some time, and Everybody's ultimates cooldown. All the BKBs are up. They have a double damager, I believe, on the PL, and they want to march in, Toby. They look for the burrow initiation, but Mag was ready for that. He just pushes himself away.
Yeah, 4 stars out, but you're still forfeiting your tier 2 tower, and this is leaving only one remaining exterior tower for Vega on the map. And it's a full BKB. Yeah,
I was starting to wonder if he would go for Sanjin Yasha as well.
It didn't make it makes no sense at all. The BKB makes a lot of sense up against the heroes he's playing against, and yeah, that's too late. Even though it looks pretty, it's too late because it's primarily, I think, up against the Disruptor. Because the Disruptor is your primary controller. The Clockwork might screw around with you a little bit, but it means you can always doppelgang yourself in and out. And that means going high ground 2 for NiP became a lot safer, because you've already got the mana style, but having the BKB means this PL really couldn't die. He's not as much of a powerhouse during the fights, but it's safety over aggressiveness.
Yeah, I actually, the more that you look at the Vega draft, at some point BKB pretty much feels mandatory this game. He has great defensive supports, that's true. The disruption, of course, we've talked about that. The heal from the Dazzle, to some extent even the plus armor from Weave, and of course the Shallow Grave. But I think even so, if Vega get a good enough initiation like we saw in the previous fight, wow, double Sanjin Yasha. Well, I guess Vega just want to fight as effectively as possible right now, is their feeling that they may just be looking at a high ground siege in the next couple of minutes, and they just want to buy items that have easy build-ups, that are cheap, that are completed when the push comes. But it means if NiP decide to just farm, Vega have now put themselves even further behind, because these items are not going to, what they offer you now is going to be significantly less for the gold investment in 10-15 minutes. Yeah. And NiP, honestly, it seems like they're not in a hurry. I imagine they're waiting for that potential next Roshan, which I
think that's all it's really coming down to.
I believe it hasn't respawned yet.
No, it hasn't. It's got another. Okay, so it's got another minute and 5 seconds. I don't know if that's me or not. I'm hoping that's not me. I'm hearing weird sounds in my ears. I'm also watching a Burrow strike down bottom lane. Pasha, the BKB will go and he'll TP himself out of here. They got no other disable that can actually penetrate that BKB.
Yeah, that's where late game the PL maybe looks towards an Abyssal Blade. I mean, less so just for that, but also because Shadow Fiend and Jaro are both likely to be right-clicking in BKB form, and they don't have BKB piercing disabled.
They could just wait it out, though, because like that's going to happen during the team fights, and the BKBs are practically down to 5 seconds anyway. So if you had stats over that, might be a better option.
I'm just going to see Leshrac pick up the plate mail here. I imagine Shivas and Boots of Travel will be coming soon. And we are looking at the BKB durations, and
8, 7, and
similar
6.
Story to last time. These BKBs are getting low very early in the game.
And that's such a critical thing going up against someone like a PL, because the PL, he'll be attacking you early on, sure, there's going to be no mana burn, but he's going to be making a lot of copies of himself. And then the BKB disappears, your life is gone. Like, it's just going to happen that quick, at least your mana pool is gone.
They're going to pop the Weave here, continue to siege the tower. Hanskin and Jonas looking for an opening. Tower's down. That is the last outer tower remaining for Vega.
If they can keep the split push going, like, it's almost worthwhile having Leshrac buy BTs next, leave him on the top lane just pushing in, and use SD Disruption on the PL with Mana Style and just keep pushing the lane in and just slowly sieging out the tower. Obviously, you want to take the Vegas model.
Here. Shadow Fiend coming in. Illusion's going to find him. There's a rocket. Do they want to hook? I think there's a 4-staff on Hanskin. Blake, Toto off the mark. The Fissure, also an airball. He's going to self-disrupt, but he does get pulled back by the Glyphs. Hanskin now trapped within, and they're just going to let him go.
Maybe throwing a lance. I don't know why Letrac's coming in this close, but the hook shot from Mag going to isolate Limp. Tungs on the BKB. Fire Strike into no one. They do have that Disruptor already down, but you got the BKB Limp. He's not really affected by this at all. Silky cannot get the Shallow Grave off in time, and they've ended up losing 2 here, but no one. The Lancers just keep chasing until the Echo Slam arrives, but the Epicenter in from Unison Farm ensures that Core of Vega cannot escape. He'll lose his life for this, and it gives a triple kill over to Pasha, but the Illusions are back into the fight again. This PL just sitting on the side, just spraying out his brothers until finally Vega could potentially go down, and of course you've got that wonderful doppelganger. It's you can't.
Nice. Very well played by Era. Still though, good fight for Vega in the end. They lose the Shadow Fiend, they get 3 kills, they force a buyback. This is an even game at this point, I think, pretty much. I do not see any momentum from NiP, and
I'm still feeling that was really weird though. Like, I don't want to say that was an even fight there, primarily because the SD was the first one getting caught out. So you've already lost one of your saving mechanisms for NiP that can extend the fight and also control Vega, cause them some problems. Right? I actually don't know the gems of the trees. But it's really still NiP not taking a full fight, but coming off with a semi-even trade. And that for me is more concerning for Vega. They actually use the weave to get the vision of that ward in the high ground, but
if they get the Aegis here, that fight was worth it. It's still, though, I feel like given their position in the game, it should not have been even.
Clockwork YOLO? No, he's too far away.
He was? Actually, no, that was disruptive.
And they had 2 observer wards down watching him come in. There was no way that was going to happen. Has anyone worked out? Like, that's NiP's gem, right? That was the SD's gem.
They just walked over
literally walked over the green glowing gem. And Sealkid's like, hey, yo, boys. Oh, look what I found. I cracked the pot, and all of a sudden I got a Deku.
How convenient. Good reference.
It's a little green. Da, da, da.
I approve.
Wonderful.
So, I guess the question is now, do NiP push with this? Do they risk trying to go high ground? Because that is where Vega is strongest, and they've been losing fights out in the open already. Now Clock is an X. He's got the Force as well, so he can hook in, drop the cogs, force out. He can really set up a nice fight, and that high ground area is just the most devastating position possible.
If I had a ward on that hill.
That is important, I think, for NiP here.
They would have actually killed off the Jara just then. They would have forced off into a disruption. The Jara was walking back with TP on cooldown, so he couldn't even just BKB and TP out to safety. That was a bit of a miss right there.
Looks like they want to push out the top lane. Bottom and mid are already pushing, and then they can choose their lane. Top lane a little bit easier to approach from. Mid lane a little more wide open. There's more ways the Echo Slam can come from. There's multiple angles, so it's a little harder to find the Shaker in that sense, but we'll see what direction they want to take here.
There's a lot of pings out here saying there's a ward in the neighborhood.
Oh,
now the Purge with the poison, it's all out limped. Then can follow it with a secondary slow, which was the lightning, but he cannot get in position for the good stun. That wall blocking him out. Limp, okay, well that was well off target, but the Barra Strike in, catching out 2, instantly going to the Sandstorm. That's primarily for Invis Bale.
Very nice 4-stat play there. But he has to BKB again. It's now a 5-second BKB.
Time is ticking down, second by second.
Shadow Fiend goes MKB here. I'm a little surprised. I really thought he would go for a butterfly versus the PL. PL has no evasion.
He's not looking for evasion either, and he definitely won't now. He could just go in for the Skadi and Heart and whatever else he wants. He could just tank it all out.
Well, I mean, at some point, probably you want True Strike, but PL has shown no interest in a butterfly yet, so it does surprise. I feel like a lot of the item selections in this game are very strange, but it's getting late, I think, more mentally for the players than actually late, as we've had a lot of pauses. It's kind of a disjointed game psychologically, and that may play a role here.
It's been a long run, especially like Vega had to play their earlier series today.
That's true. For Vega, it's been long, especially.
Yeah, they had to play the full tiebreaker. And it's also been a very 2 intense days of group stages. And you get to that point where like you're going to get mentally fatigued. I mean, you got to pull through it, or else you're not going to get through TI. And now Unison farm, the TP's coming in. Actually, they kill off the creep. That was the BTs. I'm not quite sure from who, but either way, 4 staffs away to safety, and it was actually Leshrac.
I mean, that Sanji Yasha is his MKB right now. If he did not build the SMY,
that's big.
That is a big item, though.
He finally got to it. This means these, like I say, these BKBs, like PL's BKB. And actually, Leshrac's got one as well.
Potentially useless.
Like you could, yeah, potentially they could be useless. At the same time, though, how often have we seen Disruptor really lock anyone inside a wall past the 10-15 minute mark? It's not that often, and now
not
no one.
Often.
Lightning. Oh, BKB straight away.
Yeah.
Why not? He's already down to 5 seconds, so it doesn't cost anything.
They're really going to want that Hex or even Abyssal Blade, potentially. These BKB TPs are kind of getting old, I think, for NiP. Or, I mean, they have Sand King, it's just more they have not been able to chain any follow-up. Like, if they can get a Burrow Strike into a Leshrac stun, then maybe they can kill Elsa. I think we'll just see Vega keep on split pushing, knowing that they can always BKB TP out.
Also, like Glimmer Cape now over on SEMA. The escape mechanisms are there. The supports for Vega are doing their work. Like, you got Naganim's Disruptor ulti, basically all you really want. The Earthshaker's got his ability to jump in and ability to force people in and out, and now he's got a Glimmer Cape as well. They've got what they need, and the only thing which Vega are really missing is damage. And that might be solved by Pasha. I don't know if this is really a game where you want to go a Rapier, but it's also not a game we thought you want to go a Monkey King Bar. So,
well, I think you do later, but
later, but not now.
Oh, another big. Why not?
Yeah, it's 5 seconds again. Like the cooldown timer on it isn't really that long. It's under a minute, and NiP can't force high ground.
They're not really starving, though. You look at the network distribution, and it's a very modest lead here for the cores. And then when it comes to the supporting cast, it's actually Vega who have more farm on their supports.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, for Shadow Demon and Dazzle, it's mostly just getting off your spells more so than having a lot of items. But
yeah,
something like a pipe would be really nice for this team later on, as there's a ton of magic damage. Are they finally going to make a move here? Jonas is pushing out rather aggressively, but he's got a lot of buddies beside him. It seems everybody's going to retreat on the side of NiP.
And NiP should be looking to split push this now. They've got PL, Leshrac, and SK. And you got to remember the Caustic Finale. Like, it's so easy to push as a Sand King. Now they look towards the mid lane. Anskar's the man who's in trouble. Purges throws everything he's possibly got here. At the same time, Mag, he's got a hook shot available to get himself out to safety. But the double Burrow Striking from Unison Farm. No one is winding up the ulti, but he actually ends up cancelling it. As Unison Farm, they need physical damage to bring him down. The BKB wore up, so the Echo Slam has some effect, not to mention that Split Earth, which does control him. And Mag, hook shot down, but you've still got Era. The Cogs will push him back. A nice dunk. Will it be enough, though? The Doppelganger in, and Pasha, he's trying to get rid of him. Actually, sorry, Doppelganger out as Era on the run, but the battery assault right behind him with the flat cannon, and now it's a disaster for NiP. They lose the Shrek in the river. The Sand King's the only one to survive, and it was all going so well.
NiP are really starting to lose their grip on this game. At this point, I think they're actually trailing in gold. If they're not, it's got to be very close. 18-19 the score. Remember how this game began. They crushed the Gyrocopter in tri-lane. He had 1 CS at 3 minutes. He ended up having like less than half of the PL's net worth. Sand King was broke even in his lane, then they got a couple of ganks. They had the first 2 kills, including first blood. Sand King could have had like a sub 10-minute Blink Dagger with phase boots. He went drums. Well, first he went Bracer Wand, then he went drums. They didn't really apply that much pressure. Leshrac had a pretty even start with the Shadow Fiend. He didn't really dominate or anything like that, but they haven't squeezed Vega. And then you go back to that one crucial fight near the Ancients where Shaker gets the Echo on the PL as he's about to Doppelganger in right after the Phantom Rush. Then he hits a 3-hero Fissure. The hook came through as the Leshrac BKB was ending. That fight changed everything. And since then, Vega have made item selections that, frankly, I'm not sure if they were the best items, but they're working out at this point. Now you've got Sandrayaja and you've got MKB on both carries. And PL is just being dealt with in these fights. I feel like he's just not able to kill anyone quickly enough.
Oh, let's see that again. Another time. Like this is now the second engagement we've had this game.
Not a great way to start the fight with Hanskin getting caught out.
Yeah, but it's the second time. It's only just a little bit to the west. Now, Unison Farm gets this double Burrow Strike, and you think, okay, we've got this. So Limp and Steel Kid want to run up, but they have to run so far around while this Epicenter has minimal effect.
Hey,
no one's the last man left alive. You're like, hang on, have we still got this? The SF drops. It looks like a good fight now for NiP.
By the way,
this happens.
That would have been a good time to use a drum charge. He was having a little trouble chasing him. I'm not even trolling. I think he might have gotten a couple of extra epi pulses off there, but unfortunately wasn't able to. And just in general, it really feels like Vega are just a little more confident about how they want to approach fights here. It helps to be the ones initiating the engagements, but Clock making the difference so far, and we just haven't seen the impact the Clock has had out of the Sand King, even though the Sand King's more farm for Jonas. Have we seen a single big epi? I think there was one solo hero epi earlier that got the Disruptor like 15 minutes ago, but that's really about it.
Yeah, that was basically, yeah, that's it, man. Like,
so apparently while we were on the replay, by the way, NiP went for a smoke gank, did not find anything, and not this again.
And down the road we walk. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Down the road we skip. We're good to go. But it's Vega's smoke turn now. But it's not for Roshan. Roshan should still be a while off. In fact,
actually,
wow. Okay, yeah, he's only like 5 seconds away. If Vega knew about this, they could slip in there and take it.
I think Clock even just shot a rocket there.
And NiP, they prep themselves for battle. Hudson, I swear, like, you're dangling a worm on the end of a fishing rod, like, with him walking out that way, and the worm does not survive.
But if you catch the fish, it's all worth it, right?
That is true. At this point, they're trying to catch 4 fish. Not just the one.
Rather feisty ones as well.
Yes, we can call them the Vega Piranhas. The new mascot of Vega.
Well,
even though I believe piranhas are a very misunderstood creature.
And why is that?
Because they don't eat man flesh.
But they do if you're bleeding, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Hookshot comes in, but the bleeding commence now. PL gonna pop the BKB. They
that's big! Huge power strike! But what can they follow up with it? You've only lost one player from either side so far. Delusion's starting to max out. But Era down for the count. Is there enough? Limp just has the pulse Nova going. They're getting through no one. The disruption took Pasha out of the fight. The stun's chasing him down, but you're coming straight back into this one.
Now the Glimpse comes back. Handskin now on the other side of the fight. Limp being pursued out. I don't know if Posh wants to get right next to him. Yeah, it looks like he's able to bring him down. Bloodstone Deny finally being used now. Sand King and rather the Shadow Demon, the last survivors. He's going to force staff up the clip. I think they have a glimpse in just a moment there. There you go. Pull him right back down into the pit of doom. He's on the high ground.
What? He wasn't down there. You did not glimpse him to the right position, ability. And he actually left the gem in the tree line.
Oh no, they're going to get the gem as well.
He left it there so they wouldn't know. So when he got glimpsed back down again, he would have died without having the gem there. But Hans is still making it work
poison. That gyro has to be careful. He's nearly about to pop to this. Is he going to? I think he needs one more poison. Oh,
he's life stealing.
They glimmered him.
Yep.
Oh, that was close.
Man, that was actually amazing play by SD, but he just got next leveled by Dota.
Well, so the fight breaks out again. Vega initiates with a hook shot. This has happened every single fight, like 4 or 5 times in a row. The Cogs completely block Limp off the fight. It was a pretty damn good burrow strike there to initiate, but in the end, when Epi's going off, it's always with BKBs there, it feels like. Era ends up spending his BKB inside of the Cogs, then he runs for his life, he ends up dying. They're not able to save him, even with Disruption and Grave. The Dazzle dies very early in the fight, which is really not the nature of their draft. They want this here to be living quite a bit longer, and from here, Limp on the run. He does get off the Bloodstone Deny this time, which is nice. I think if Limp manages to farm an Octarine Core, this game gets a lot different, because then he can maybe win that type of fight 1v1. But
I kind of want to see this again. So gem drop is there. That's where he drops the gem, and he's like, sweet, I've just done this, amazing. And then somehow his left leg is bigger than his right,
I think,
and he just like limps himself up.
So he got glimpsed like as he was mid-force staff, it looked like, and then it decided he was up the cliff.
Right. Synderen is giving you the nod of approval, LD.
That was still weird, though, because it didn't put him like clearly on either side, and then it just kind of.
Oh, they're going to walk into each other. The Burrow Strike, it's on 3 this time around with the Shiva's Guard. Limp in the middle with the Pulse Nova. They got a big double stun out as well, but it's NiP who are the ones who are dying. They got done by the Disruptor ulti, and we got ourselves a pause in the middle of the fight.
Oh,
the question marks come out from Vega, as there is a lot of lag for NiP. But you've lost the Dazzle, you've lost the SD, and they are getting the hell out of here.
Oh, no. This is terrible. It looks like they're just lagging in the middle of the fights now. And what a way for NiP to lose this game if they go on to lose it. That is beyond depressing. But you got to give Vega credit. They're playing exceptionally well. Finally, they get a good Sand King initiation, but the problem is they don't really have the best follow-up. Lesh runs in, but everybody on Vega pretty much got off their BKBs. They have the Glimmer Capes going as well. They're very resistant to magic damage, and this is where PL just has to hit even harder than he does. I feel like they have too many ways at this point to deal with illusions. They have the call down, the flat cannon, Shaker with the mass AoE. By the way, if we do get a chance to watch the replay of this fight, Shaker gets a great echo on the north side. I think he catches both supports.
Or is it from Seema?
He's coming from the right, but he gets the echo on 3. And that completely changes the fight. Seema, so far, it feels like he's been the MVP here.
That was so good from him as well, because he pushed himself just far enough away from the Shiva's Guard and away from any attack from NiP that he was capable of doing that blink. It would have been...
That's the other issue, is they got the great burrow. There was no follow-up, but it wasn't just because they didn't know how to follow it up. It was because they disrupted everybody else. So give Vega credit. They're doing a great job of just throwing NiP off in these engagements.
They really are. And with fights keep continuously going this way, like, you just... Sorry, we've got the Headshaker crowd over on our right. Do we Okay, do you guys want to put your headsets back on again and join us again? And what's bothering you so much?
I think what's bothering us is in the beginning of the fight, Sima had no, not this fight, the one prior to that where they were fighting inside of the river where he could have pretty much echoed their entire team. He just decided not to. That's what you were talking about, right?
Oh, no.
Then what were you saying?
No, I'm just super confused with how almost every single fight is breaking out. It's just very spontaneous. It's weird to watch that in the last and final deciding game. I feel like the teams are playing the most YOLO. You know what I mean? Like they're just going in, and it doesn't seem very thought through how they approach the fight. It's just, oh shit, here they are, let's go. I'm really missing an epicenter out of Sand King that has an impact. I feel like every single time, and here's a problem with their draft. So the way they engage every fight is that they want Sand King to blink burrow multiple targets, and then they want him to BKB Epi, but he gets countered by hookshot. He got in this fight. This would have been a totally different fight if that didn't happen, so Mag sees the opportunity and does exactly what he needs to do. If NiP can engage a fight where the opener is disruption, so they get a Lesh stun on, they start laying into that target with PL and Lesh at a distance so they don't get echoed together, then Sand King can get an epicenter and use that as the follow-up and get in with that. But every single time he burrows, and then he's out of the fight. Like, he gets shut down every time he goes in, and to me, this is the hardest part of the game for Sand King, though. In my opinion, he could have had a major impact from, say, minute 15 to 35
hate to interrupt
had he
you,
gone
man.
for Epi over BKB.
It's go time.
Burrow.
It's time to see how many of NiP can escape, but when you get glimpsed back like Limp does, he's not going to survive, and some farm jumps back in again for another double burrow strike, but now he's basically man number one, the Vega one trying to kill off. He's so close to killing Solo, but Solo, Glimmer Caves hide inside the pits, an ultra kill for Pasha, and now you got Era, who's in even more trouble in the mid. He should have doppelganger available. I gave up to the high ground and away, but you've lost 4 and you've lost Roshan.
That is a very big fight to lose here. They have no buybacks, Toby. Sand King dead for a minute. There's no tier 2 mid. I think Vega at least shoved the lanes in. I don't know if they actually want to approach the base right now. Their buyback situation is good.
They still need another good fight. They still need one more good fight. But this is when you establish map control and vision. Yeah. Get the waters down across as much of NiP side of the map as possible. And still remember that NiP can just turn into the split push game. This game is not by any stretch of the imagination. If NiP can just pull themselves together, get the Leshrac pushing down one lane, get the other 4 going down another lane, add enough pressure that the Leshrac's not going to get ganked by Vega because they're too fearful about their bottom lane. I think that's where it should go. And that's the way I think NiP can still take this game. But they have to split up the Vega team, and they cannot keep fighting within these choke points. It's choke point after choke point. These fights keep happening. It's
really tough not to when this clock is playing so well. He has found that was the one fight where he did not get an initiation, but he still managed to, as Cinder had mentioned, to interrupt the epicenter. Anyway, it's just been a tour de force for Clock. And now this is where the game gets really hard for PL. Now there's a butterfly on SF. He doesn't even have an MKB on the main hero, and obviously you can't get True Strike on illusions. Shadow Feed is going to be very difficult to kill. I don't think they can kill him unless they bait out his BKB first. When he has BKB, he's immortal.
Agreed. But how do you do that? Like, you can lance at him, but you got no initiator. The SK is your only initiator, but you are also trying to keep him back so he can get a good epicenter off during the middle of the fight. So good luck for that one. Now Clockwork even has a 10-second BKB coming in 43 minutes into the game.
I think Vega go high ground here, honestly. They've got the lanes pushed in. They have the Aegis. I believe they have BOT buyback on at least one, if not both of their cores.
PL's the only one with buyback, but you'll have it on SK as well as Leshrac. Like, they're 50, 100 gold. Now Leshrac's got his.
Gyro's going to have it in 50, and he's got the Aegis.
SK should keep going on bottom lane. They have to make Vega think twice, but he's actually already coming back. They're going to get in position for this fight. And aggressive disruption, follow-up stun isn't available here. Pasha forced away by Vega.
The Glimmer Cape again, doing its work. Do NiP actually have a gem anymore? I kind of doubt it.
No, it got picked up. It's on the ES.
That's going to make these Glimmer Capes even more effective.
You should really give that to the Disruptor.
It's a bit of a concern for NiP. They may need to try and put dust on one of their supports here. There's one gem that they stole. I think one they may have purchased, but both now firmly resting in Vega hands.
They're holding their one. They're keeping NiP's one for ransom later.
I just can't believe that Gyrocopter and Shadow Fiend are more farmed than the PL right now. It's 54 minutes in after the start. they have, he's only got 3.5 to 4 items. That is...
It's the fight. It's the fact that PL isn't across the map. Like, where are the BTs on this PL? Like, we're still sitting on treads. Like, so he can't just, like, split push this game out, wait it out, use that doppelganger, escape from these ganks, and waste the time of Vega. It's not happening at the moment. Instead, he's looking at this going, we're going to take a team fight up against Vega. Where I'm sitting here going, do you have to? Like
now,
you're still a PL.
Now they may have to.
Now they definitely have to.
They don't split push that quickly. PL is good, but I would not say he's actually, they do have the AC. The AC may allow them to try for it, but already PL's TPing home.
He needs to actually be there so they can create disruption illusions for this. Like, if it was going to happen, it would... They would have Vega Thicky Bat falling back by the time that Tier 2 tower, which means that Tier 3 tower had to be under attack before Vega reached it.
They're going to go for it, Toby. From the low ground, the siege commences. They glimmer no one. They're going to disrupt now. The Gyrocop continue pushing on in. Pasha unthwarted so far. They get a blink burrow.
Good hook. Big one on the limb, but the Echo Slam on the back lines. Hanskin's got no effect in this fight whatsoever. Unison Farm as well. He hasn't got this epicenter off. Now he's starting to channel, but he's so far away from the rest of them. He burrow strikes in, and 3 of the pulses is on nothing. He burrow strikes into 2 then, and that's all. He's dealt for the count, and in we go again. Mag with the hook shot, right on top of Steelkin. He'll keep himself alive, but this selfish nature means that Limp has to stand in the middle of all of Vega. Pulse Snowbringer, a big burrow strike again, but where is the damage? The cheese triggered over on no one. They still haven't even popped the Aegis Immortal on Gyrocopter, and he'll have his lifesteal back up in 15 seconds.
He needs to use it now. Gyrocopter dropping low, but as you mentioned, has the Aegis. They cave in the lane of Rex, trying to retreat out here quickly on Mag. There's a surge forward from some illusions. Mag hooks the illusion, tries to retreat. Now the BKB from Gyro, continuing pursuit. Seema in again with the plays. Oh, he just misses his 4-step out, just a bit short of catching the escape chopper. Another good burrow, but Jonas has to be careful here. A death means a dieback. Vega, I think they're happy with this. They get a lane of Rax. They don't lose any catastrophic, or they don't experience catastrophic losses. The carries still end up with their goal. They force out 2 buybacks, including the Leshrac. That is a big win for Vega. And now they can relax a little bit, push out the lanes again. They may even want to wait for the next Roche to push, but that's a win.
And Unison Farm, he blinked Burrow Striked out to catch out 3 because he thought the other teammates would be right behind him, but they took so long to kill the Earthshaker. And like, it's an Earthshaker on 5% of his HP. And they took a grand total of like 3 seconds before they finished it. So he never had any friends follow him up here. But this hook shot, like, the hook shots made this fight for me. That one down to start with, and then the Earthshaker. 4 staffs over. It's style slide points to come in, drop the Echo, and just control up the SD. Again, you're taking out the 2 major controllers of NiP in the team fights. They don't exist. Vega had the position advantage.
Yeah.
And then this.
Yeah, Jonas, he hasn't found that big epi, and they're getting to a point where they need it. He went for an Assault Cuirass here as well, which there is a lot of physical damage on Vega, so yeah. I don't think it's a bad item by any means, but it feels like they need more damage output out of the Sand King, and I think they need a Veil at this point, honestly. BKBs are running pretty low. There are a lot of Glimmer Capes, but they're just not bursting anyone quickly enough. Then Vega popped their BKBs. They had the Cheese to work with, as well as the Aegis in this fight. Gyro has a Satanic. Shadow Fiend's probably building a Satanic next, and to be honest, Sin talked about it in one of the earlier casts. Normally it's... Uh-oh. Yep.
Yeah, we're going again.
We're going to have a fight again.
It's the river, which is where they're coming up now. They have started already off with a weave, but it's a big call down. And again, Hanskin, they're actually having to use their abilities to keep their supports alive. And Mag, he splits the fight in 2 by putting the cogs on the walkway, and that's going to be a death of 2 of them. The PL, they're basically all dying.
The epicenter hookshot coming through. Mag's going to find another. That's a dieback on the left track, as well as the Sandgate. This could be the game against NiP. It looked like they had it completely locked up after the laning stage, but it's all crumbling now. An ultra kill for no one, who's about to become someone if he wins this one. And they're marching down top. This should be 2, if not 3 lanes of Rax. And with that, Toby, the Ninjas in Pajamas may have just ended the last Swedish hope for the International 5.
Man, this isn't just in the bag. Vega have stolen the bag and hidden it from NiP. This is game. You've lost the bottom racks. You're going to lose your top. The PL does actually have his buyback, so he's coming back to the world of the living. But what are you going to do to really stop this? The Aegis might be gone, but you got a 6-slotted Gyrocopter who's probably got buyback anyway, so he'll just TP himself back into the fight. You're taking out your top racks. Yeah, he's got buyback, Rex, so does the SF. And you don't have your Leshrac. Hookshot in, Hanskin dead before you can blink, and they move over even further. And good luck to Era. I say good luck because he's running away from here. The Shallow Grave will keep him up, but he's losing all of his property. He is actually going to pause the game up as well. Even we're seeing a little bit of lag on the screen right now, but you've lost your top racks, you lost your bottom racks, and I just hope. Is there a new hope?
It's game. This is mega creeps here. I hate to say it, but NiP, they have no chance at this point. Peel has to go heal in the well. By the time he comes back, he can't even win the fight anyway, and he's now got to do it 2v5 instead of 5v5. Boots of travel on the disruptor. Mega creeps, they're going for the throne. Vega survived today. They will be the team that faces 4 anchors, and this was NiP's game. It really felt that way. They won the tri-lane. Sandkeen had a sub 10-minute blink. They broke even mid. It should have just been their game.
They had such a huge advantage. Such a huge advantage. And I think a lot of it's still going to come down to what we were talking about during a lot of the breaks. It's the mindset of NiP. Things just broke on their side of the fence. And here's your fortress. It's going to go down. Let's make it official. Ninjas in pajamas are eliminated from the TI5 European qualifiers. Vega Squadron will face up against 4ASC to see who will be the last team for the European division to qualify for TI5 and also battle for that #1 position up against Na'Vi to go directly into the main event.
As much as it felt like NiP should have won this game, I still have to say Vega, no, they're a scrappy team. They know how to play from a deficit. They don't give up. That was 2 games in a row now where it looked like they were in danger of losing early, and they came back.